Hello. Welcome to Lathe and Loom Podcast. My name is Cher. I have a few new subscribers since my last podcast, so welcome. Thanks so much. I really appreciate everyone who took time to comment and give me some advice on the couple knitting dilemmas I posted from the last video. So I guess I will start with the red Panda sweater. So go ahead and stand up here. I have fixed that neckline. You actually do see the change in the yarn on camera. You do not see that in person, but this neckline had gotten quite large. I had not gone down the recommended needle sizes in the pattern, and I love the sweater, so I just I ripped back to actually one row above the pickup, because I had actually picked up with, I was running out of yarn, thus the change, and I had used several little scraps, so I really didn't want to undo that, and I liked the rate of the pickup, so I just did that. Went down to a size US 1, I think 2.25 millimeter needle, and re-knit that, and then bound that off with the Hiya Grandma bind off, which I love because I do not like the tubular sewn bind off. Anyway, so I'm super happy with how that looks. Let's see, camera focus. And now I have a much more wearable sweater, so I have a cami on because I thought I'd do a couple try-ons of things today. So that is where we are with that. So it's definitely worth it to kind of fix and finish your knits, right? So we're going to call this the ReFO, refurbished finished object. So I will talk about the second project, which is still a whip, in a moment, but I did want to show just a couple of, I have been dabbling with machine knitting, and I have joined the machine knitting community, and they are running a year of hats, 12 months of hats knit along, and this was I believe this is a February hat. I'm a little behind because it was getting, I have a bulky bed knitting machine and a standard bed knitting machine, and I didn't have the bulky bed ready, which those two things are just what affects the gauge of your knit. So anyway, long story short, I have it up and running now. So this first hat pattern, it was called the Hattie. It was by designer Payne, who is also a member of the community. And this one I knit in Chastari traditional, which I have on a cone, and it is knit flat, and I'll undo it in a second, but it's knit flat and seamed. So let's see, probably a little bit over here maybe. There we have it. I'll pop in a couple of photos as well, but so it is knit flat, and you start by knitting the ribbing, and then you do the stockinette with a series of decreases. So they're quite, I'm quite proud of the decreasing here, which is it's interesting. There's some things on the knitting machine that are way faster. I mean, like but the cast on takes a little bit of time because I really have to just kind of think through what I'm doing, and then whoop, you knit that, and then whoop, you knit that, and then this takes a long time. So it's a trade-off of what you do, but like from a simple just back and forth knitting or back and forth ribbing, once it's set up, it's quite quick. I did the hat in an afternoon, just as sorry, this one I did not. This one took longer. This one I did in an afternoon, so I'll show you that just really because I'm learning. But anyway, and then you mattress seam up because you have this opening here as you're finishing it. So I have never liked my mattress seaming, but I will, just to show you, it's there. There it is on the inside, and then of course I flipped it for the ribbing so that when I fold it up it won't see, but here it is, and I am pretty proud of that. Like, I think it looks pretty good. And then here it is on the ribbing side. So kind of like a nice skill builder. And then when you fold it up, now the pattern I think was not designed to fold up, but I wanted it to have a cuff, because the time I really want a hat is usually if we're doing fishing or something in the winter and it's like really cold and I want those layers. So I did that one, and then I just enjoyed that so much I wanted to try again. So I pulled out, I have a whole basket. I pulled like all these scrap yarns of my worsted weight and DK weight yarn. This is the yarn left over from my flax sweater that I called flax. It's a flax pattern, is a pattern by Tin Can Knits, and I omitted the garter stitch on the sleeves, but I did the body in this main color. It's monochrome. I'll put my project page down below, and actually I do put really good notes, or I try to put really good notes, so all my project page are linked. If I talk about a resource or a store or something else, I try to link all that below in the show notes. So click the drop down, click more, and it should fall. And if you have any, my email's in there as well, so if you ever have any questions about anything, please do not hesitate to reach out or leave a note in the comments. And I don't have the volume that I can't get back to everyone with a comment. So I really enjoy that sense of community as well. Anyway, so this time I knit the ribbing from the stripe. So here's this one. This one I actually reduced the number of rows in the stockinette and change the gauge slightly in the ribbing. So I love this one. This one fits me a little bit better, so I think this is the keeper pattern. But actually both hats fit my husband as well, so it's very forgiving, very stretchy with the ribbing, and neither of them look too tight or too big or too small on him. So anyway, I think I will be making a lot of these. This is kind of, I'm thinking about doing like pulling all those yarns and just knitting up a bunch and kind of having the gift basket for the fall and winter when people visit. Nice way to use up some, nice scrap yarn, as well as just, it's giving me a lot of practice on the knitting machine. But this one I did in an afternoon, so just nice to, it just takes some concentration to think about kind of what you're doing. The stitches are different. You manipulate the stitches, obviously you have multiple needles rather than one, so you're doing things sequentially. But yeah, I'm really enjoying that and just looking forward to building more skills on the knitting machine there. So that is there is what I'm working on there. I'm going to pause here and pop on the Móinéar yoke. That was the other dilemma from episode 37, so we can see where we are with that. So I'll be right back. So before I talk about the Móinéar project, just here I do have a couple of episodes where I talk in detail about the red panda sweater, but just here it is a drop shoulder sweater, has this very nice decorative ribbing along the shoulders, pretty color work band and on the cuffs. I had quite the game of yarn chicken, as is noted. And again, like in person, you do not see this. You really pick up that yarn change on the camera, but in live, real life, you're not seeing that. But anyway, this is a pattern by Asita Krebs. And her information on my project page will be listed below. This was a really fun knit. I did knit the front of this on the knitting machine. I did the color work by hand, and then I did the back by hand, and then it was a test knit, so I was afraid I was running out of time, so I matched the gauge and I knit the front on the knitting machine. That is the power of the knitting machine. It took me like 20 minutes. So definitely having fun, kind of trying to figure out the hybrid knitting. I don't think it will ever replace what I love about hand knitting. It's just very different. I have to be up, out of the room. I have to really concentrate. It's not portable. It's quite involved in some steps, but it definitely has some things about it that are really efficient for the right things. So on to the Móinéar. This is a pattern by Ailbíona McLochlainn. I am knitting it in Woolly Mammoth Fiber Co. Natural Decay in the colorways Pearlescent and Glitter Cracklin. So I gush about this yarn in the prior episode, so I won't do it again, but it is just fabulous. So with this one, I had finished the yoke, split for the sleeves, and knit down to about here the last episode, and I was just getting a lot of excess fabric. So what I have done is I ripped all the way back to just below the yoke, including the short rows. I re-knit and I reduced the stitches across the back and a few across the front. I had already moved some of them to the front. I redid the short rows. When I went to I decided to alternate skeins because I was getting ready to change skeins. And I don't know what I did. I did something. Anyway, long story short, I ended up having to rip it all the way back again and do it again. But and then I have blocked it since, which a number of you all said, hey, block it before you decide. I just knew I could grab, if you look at the last episode, I could grab several inches of fabric in the back, and that was not going to make me happy. So, I mean, it's not a fitted sweater. But it is it will be somewhat oversized, but I didn't want it as oversized as it was. So I'm happy with where it is now. Now I'm to knit straight. I may increase a little bit at the hip, but and if you see from the pattern photo, I have a very low contrast. Hopefully you see that that's flowers in there, but anyway, I can see it up close. It's the look I wanted, and really I just wanted a pattern that matched with the yarn. So I'm happy with the outcome of where we are with that so far. So I've finished off a skein. I blocked it, and now I'm going to do the sleeves so that I can really see how the yoke sits before I decide how long to knit for the body. So that is where we are with that one. So again, just here's the color work design. I love this neck. So I did the neck. I think it have variations in the pattern of how long you want to do the neck. I believe mine was 2.5 inches. Have it in my notes, but I love how this pearlescent yarn, I think it is coming across nicely in the camera. It's harder on the skein, but it just has this really subtle, it's not as gray as it, this is more, that's actually more the color, kind of, it's got this pink, but it's just got this light wash of as you're knitting, you see a hint, just like almost an aftermath of a little bit of blue, or a little bit of pink, or a little bit of green. I absolutely love it. Let's see if we can knit and chat a little bit. I am working on the Richmond Hill Pullover, which is a pattern by Mary Pranica for Blue Sky Fibers. I'm knitting it out of Woolstock Light, which is 100% fine Highland wool. It comes in 50 gram hanks, which are 218 yards. This, I'll put a better photo up, but this has got colorwork sleeves and a solid body. And when the pattern posted, it's been a couple years ago, I went and bought it at my local yarn shop, exactly the way that it was shown in the pattern. So I cast it on for our trip to Switzerland last fall, because Amanda of the Yarns and Brews podcast had very astutely said to me, if you get the yoke started, you'll have stockinette you can work on in the body, and then color work you can work on for the sleeves, all in one project, which actually I ended up, as I often do, ripping back the yoke a few times. So never really got to the sleeves while I was on vacation, but nonetheless, it was a great option. I should have probably been a little bit further along. But anyway, so I've sort of been just picking this one up in the background. I work on the sleeves a couple inches, I work on the body. So I'm now to the bind off on the body. And it has 4 inches of 1x1 ribbing, which, I don't know, I think I've been kind of avoiding, thinking this is like, I'm going to hate that. I am a combination knitter. I've taught myself, I don't know, maybe a year and a half, maybe 2 years ago, when Irina of Fiber Chats posted some of her tutorials for combination knitting. It is a total game changer, and I don't mind purling at all, because my purling, it's pretty much as even as my knitting, and it's just as easy of a maneuver. So I love that. I've actually enjoyed this so much that I think I could do a whole sweater of 1x1 rib, whether that's a good idea or not. But I have just really enjoyed it. So I've been picking this up. I'm also working on, I wanted a new float tote, which is a pattern by Knitting Hattie, and she's running a crochet along. I actually do not enjoy crochet, but I really wanted the project, and I thought it'd be fun with the crochet along. She's got some tutorials that she's posting, so it is helping me learn to read my crochet. And I do have a Battenberg blanket that I'm working on with our daughter-in-law to be, that I would like to have done for the wedding. So kind of hoping I can keep that momentum through the summer. Those are nice, easy projects to take little pieces kind of as you're traveling or doing stuff or sitting outside. So hopefully we'll do there. But that was a huge tangent. Anyway, so I've been doing this in the morning, just kind of chipping away, and I'm 2 rows from the bind off. So happy about that. The problem with this sweater, I'm finding, and let me pull the sleeve out, and I guess I'm really not at a point where I wanted to be to put it on for you, so that will be in the next episode. I love the look of it. Let me show you where we're at. There we go. All right, here we are. So I'm about, I think, to about here on each of the sleeves. The problem I have, and I don't think there's a big transition. I think, my needle, I think I did go up a needle size on the sleeves. They're not too tight, but they're definitely snugger than the stockinette. And where that hits on my arm is probably the least attractive spot. So we'll see. So I'm going to finish the ribbing and I'm going to block it. And then we're going to do a try on and see how it looks. I have a couple of thoughts. And again, Amanda made a recommendation. I can, and you can even see on this one actually, don't you? You see a little bit of where it kind of just goes in. That little bit on the color work. Which should be fine if my arms are a little slimmer. But they're not, so hey, gotta deal with it. So Amanda's recommendation was to pick up stitches on both sides, cut, extend the stockinette another 1 to 2 inches because I've not finished the sleeve, so I have a lot of flexibility there, and then graft the sleeve back on. That would preserve all what I've done so far. Probably would not. I've not done it, but I graft sock toes all the time, so it's not like grafting the whole body, right? So that's probably a really good option. The other thing I've actually thought about is I think it would just make a really nice kind of 3/4 sleeve sweater, and I just cut the sleeves off. So we're going to do that. So I'm going to finish the hem and block it, and then we'll do a little try on, and then I'll get some opinions from you, the lovely knitting community, to help me kind of figure out what I want to do there. We have had, so I am located in eastern North Carolina. We have had the typical, what people call, the fall, spring, and we've had days of 85 and, t-shirts and shorts, and then this last couple of weeks we've been back in the 40s at night and 60s in the daytime. So I'm never unhappy to get another day to wear sweaters. But summer is coming. So it definitely has me thinking about summer knits. I have some lace knits planned. I think I probably will do a video of sort of where my queue is at, because I've got a number of things and I've got the yarns purchased and so forth. But I'm thinking about summer knits. I really, really like the Breezeway tee that I did last year. Every time I sit at this camera, I cannot get which side is which. So anyway, Breezeway tee that I did last year, which is a pattern by Laura Ayler, I believe. I hope that's right. I will correct it here on the screen if it's wrong. And so I've been sort of collecting some yarns and some summer weight yarns rather. So I did purchase at the North Carolina Fiber Fest, I guess it's Carolina Fiber Fest here a couple weeks ago. I did buy some Miss Babs. They always have a show colorway. So it's 2:00. They always have a show colorway. This is in the Yummy 2-ply, 100% superwash merino, 400 yards, 365 meters, or 110 grams. So just thought this was really pretty. I like the show colorways, kind of something different. I needed barely over 2 skeins to do my Breezeway. So if you are, and I actually will go down a size. It's a little bit bigger than, I always knit it a little bigger than I probably really need to. But so I may get away with 2, we'll see. And but for folk, if you're in the, and I was knitting in the maybe the 5th size up, you could probably get away with 2 skeins. Has a really nice construction. I would love to do a Breezeway knit along. I would love to know if anyone would be interested in joining me in that. It's a fairly quick knit. I will talk about that maybe in the next podcast, but leave a note below if you would join me in that. I would love to do that for a spring knit, and it's really one of my favorite. It's another one Amanda had recommended. It is a pattern that really, I think, fits well on lots of body types. It's got some interesting construction for the little caplet sleeve that works really nicely. It's got some nice detailing of short rows on the hem. So definitely one I'm going to reknit again. Whether I knit all these yarns with that, I don't know. So I am definitely looking at tea patterns, and I'll do another episode as I think about it. But here's some yarns that I'm looking at. So last year at Fiber Space in Alexandria, Virginia, I purchased some of this Sauna, which is by Wool Dreamers. It is 50% wool, 50% cotton. I mean, I'm obviously in a pretty hot part of the southeast U.S., so our summers are, typically upper 90s. And so I'm looking for some different, I don't love strictly plant-based fibers to knit with, but practically speaking, something, I'm trying to explore a little bit more. So I wanted to try that one. This is the colorway 1985. It's sort of a blue, heathered blue. I think that'll be just really pretty. So that is one candidate. I mean, it will definitely be a t-shirt, whether it's the Breezeway or not, I'm not sure. A couple weeks ago, I was in Ashland, Virginia at Yarniverse and asked for a recommendation again on some summer yarns. This is the Queensland collection, and this is their soft machine washable blend of lamb's wool and cotton. It's 55% lamb's wool, 45% cotton, 50 grams or 251 yards, 230 meters. Suggested knitting gauge is 23 to 26 stitches in stockinette. The colorway is crab apple. So the individual at the shop that I spoke to said that she liked working with this. It did not bother her hands the way 100% cotton does. And I think also 100% cotton, just it gets heavy. I don't know. It's not, anyway. So I'm hoping that I'll find this wool cotton blend to be a nice option. And then the other thing I am exploring with, I bought this maybe 2 years ago when I did my Tulsa tea, which is Lindy chain. This is a fingering weight, and it is by Knit Picks. This is the colorway U526, black, 180 yards and 50 grams, and it is 70% linen and 30% Pima cotton. So this one is all plant-based. So I'm just looking at different tee and tank patterns, trying to decide what to do with those 3 yarns kind of as my summer knitting projects. They might all be Breezeway tees, but I have come up with some others, so I will do a separate video of that. But I would love to know if you have a favorite summer pattern. If you will put a comment, that would be awesome. Maybe we'll do a little roundup, and I can present some of those along with some of the ones that I'm looking, and I'll put together a Ravelry bundle to talk about that. So that's where we are at today. Again, thanks so much if you helped out with my previous knitting dilemma. We will get back to my current knitting dilemma in the next episode, and maybe we'll talk about running that KAL. Maybe we could do some knit along Zooms or something. I think that would be a lot of fun for the summer. So let me know. Also, I'd love to know what you're working on, and thank you so much for joining me. Happy knitting, spinning, dyeing, and weaving. Bye, y'all.